Welcome to the 33rd edition of Stump the Pastor. Our question today comes from Mark in Colorado, and he asks, how badly will mainline denominations that now have LGBTQ clergy in marriage freak out when they discover that gay culture and relationships don't match their heteronormative culture? The perennial question about which every culture struggles: marriage. You know, the definition of marriage has changed throughout history. Since the beginning of human beings, there have been various ways in which people enter into relationships. And everyone differs, from offering the father of the bride a herd of cattle as dowry, to elaborate courtship rituals, to raiding a neighboring tribe and kidnapping the women. Isn't love wonderful? Even if we look at American culture, rituals, assumptions, dowries, different expectations of males and females, and lots more has changed over the century in our understanding of marriage. You see, marriage has multiple levels. Marriage is a legal contract certified by the state. Marriage is a religious covenant that is instituted as a sacrament or a ritual. Marriage is a covenant between adults who want to raise children and merge their life's work together. So in all human history, there has never been just one way to marry. In 2015, the United States Supreme Court ruled that LGBTQ folks could not be barred from legal marriage based on sex. That was when my own Canadian marriage to Bill a decade earlier finally became legalized across the U.S., for which I was grateful. But back to Mark's question. The church has been freaking out over LGBTQ relationships all along. Heteronormative culture, which is the assumption that heterosexuality is the normal, that culture has been freaking out about a lot of things besides just marriage. But it does raise some of the most uncomfortable questions for people to ponder when we think about marriage. And that is that marriage involves sex. And most of us find dwelling on the sexual expression of others to be a bit uncomfortable. I mean, it is kind of voyeuristic to think about, right? Even those of us with a healthy attitude about sexuality find picturing our parents or our grandparents having sex as ooh, yuck, icky, poo. And those are the mature responses. So, yes, Mark, some Christians are grossed out by the thought of how other people live their sexual selves and turn those relationships into legal ones. They are grossed out by all the glorious and sticky manifestations that human ingenuity can conceive. And it will be especially hard to think about their LGBTQ neighbors who, at least though, will give them a break from focusing on their heterosexual neighbors. At least for a while. See you next time on Stump the Pastor. Well, let's talk about something that's less difficult than marriage, huh? If you have a question, give me a shout. My email address is on the bottom of your screen. See you next time. Stump the Pastor.